If we have a quick look at the methodology, I chose a multiple embedded case study approach to ensure that more than one device in the auto ID selection environment was studied. Given the approach I chose in terms of the theoretical framework, looking at an industry-wide issue, I needed to ensure that more than a couple of auto ID devices were studied. Thus, I chose the 5 most prominent or emerging, if I can put it in that way, technologies. And in terms of the technologies, I chose barcode, magnetic stripe card, smart card, biometrics, and RFID transponder implants. Now, for each of these devices or technologies or techniques, you can't really have an innovation unless you have an application or a product innovation of that device. For example, a barcode on its own is quite useless if it's not applied to some kind of ticketing, for instance. Thus, the 5 embedded cases I chose, so this is like the top unit level of analysis, and this is the embedded level of analysis. I chose manufacturing for barcodes, financial transactions for magnetic stripe card, telecommunications for the smart card, government services for biometrics, and human monitoring for transponder implants. What we see in the paper that I have written is a progression from a less invasive culture of auto ID to a highly invasive culture. And what I mean by that is, we began with things that we stuck onto products. We then started carrying cards that you could swipe on machines, so you'd have to physically touch the actual ID device. Furthermore, you had something that was not a dumb device, but a smart device, a smart card, for example, that could store information and more than the very minute data that could be stored on the magnetic stripe. It was also allowed for things like encryption and operating systems on board. And again, these cards could come in a contact or contactless nature. Thus, you not only had to carry the card, but you could put it in your purse and walk onto a bus, for example, and have an amount extracted from the card. Biometrics required us to almost fuse flesh and machine, for instance. We actually have to physically touch a device with our hands. For example, a hand, fingerprint, foot, or other type of vein recognition. And finally, we have the highly invasive transponder implants, and here you can see Professor Kevin Warwick of the University of Reading in the cybernetics department having himself implanted with an RFID device. Now the question we are asking ourselves is, in this industry, in this auto ID selection environment, what kind of patterns can we see coming forward or being exposed over time?